The buy now, pay later app Klarna announced a partnership with popular food delivery app Doordash. The company said Doordash customers will be able to split their payments at checkout into 4 interest-free installments or defer the payments to a later date. The move comes as Klarna is expected to join the New York Stock Exchange as a publicly traded company with an IPO expected sometime this year. The buy now, pay later app Klarna announced a partnership with popular food delivery app Doordash. The company said Doordash customers will be able to split their payments at checkout into 4 interest-free installments or defer the payments to a later date. The move comes as Klarna is
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, honor, and power that's due unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh, Shabbat, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles at Great Millstone, those who rule well and who I learned this truth from. Salutations to the brothers stiffly pushing this one truth, in all sincerity and diligence, risking both your lives and freedoms to do so. Shalom to the rest of the elect as we all await the second Exodus coming quickly by the hands of Lord Yahweh Shah. This is your brother Kakabar. All right, we'll be just updating on these economic, this recession, all right, and how bad times have gotten to the point to where now, you'll pretty much be able to finance food. Okay, buy now, pay later, break your food, your DoorDash order up into 4 payments, or just defer the payment altogether, and this is a sign of, if this ain't a sign of the times, man, then I don't know what is, because they know people pretty much can't afford it, man. They know people can't afford to, make ends meet. So, they're coming with this whole buy now, pay later, which, I went on ahead and, went on to ChatGPT, and I typed in how does Klarna, which is the buy now, pay later service, partnering with DoorDash indicate signs of economic woes and recession. And I'm going to read what it said. It said Klarna partnering with DoorDash can be seen as a potential sign of economic distress and recessionary pressures for a few key reasons. It says increased demand for buy now, pay later. It says buy now, pay later services are typically more popular during economic downturns when consumers have less disposable income and need flexible payment options for everyday expenses. Okay, because with this inflation, the trade wars, the tariffs and things that we're dealing with, people, it's getting to the point to where people can barely afford food, man. And guess what? We know scriptures speak about this. When you read Revelation 6, it speaks about a day's wage ultimately for a loaf of bread, man. Imagine having to put a loaf of bread in a carton of eggs and some milk, all right, on a buy now, pay later payment plan, But really, that's the times that we in, man. That's the times that we're in. They made it so much harder just to make simple ends meet. It says, because people have less disposable income. It says if people are using Klarna to pay for food delivery, it suggests they may be struggling with cash flow and resorting to credit-like options for even small purchases, man. To imagine that. I mean, normally, you think of using Klarna, Afterpay Affirm for, larger expenses. You know what I'm saying? You may get an order, a few $100s or whatever the case may be, and you want to break it up to kind of better, manage your cash flow. But if you have to resort to using this for food, that just shows you that we're in them times, man. And hey, what follows this is going to be, a great tribulation, great tribulation, man. Okay, because things aren't getting any better. All right. All right. It says food delivery as a non-essential expense. During strong economic periods, consumers are more likely to pay for convenience services like food delivery outright. If consumers are financing these purchases, it may indicate they're financially stretched, but still unwilling to give up conveniences, a behavior often seen before deeper financial trouble. Yeah, because you people don't want to give up this ease of life that they've given you. DoorDash, you get your food delivered to your crib, groceries delivered to the crib. packages. You don't gotta go out for nothing if you don't really want to. So people gonna just pretty much be like, fuck it. I'll take my last $20, you know what I'm saying? Order me a fucking Happy Meal, a Big Mac, and put it on a fucking after-pay plan, Klarna. So I'll pay $5 now. I'll figure the rest out in a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, that shit, that show you how bad these times have gotten, man. And I was reading through these comments, and it's just funny because, these comments are, it's just funny, Credit lending for food. The recession is here. I've been thinking about refinancing my milkshake. All right. I got bills to put Doritos Locos Taco, putting Taco Bell on 4 easy payments is wild, which, hey, I don't know as far as Klarna, but, some of these buy now, pay laters, they start charging your ass interest. So here your ass is paying fucking $2 worth of interest, on a Doritos Locos Taco. So it's like they trying to ultimately help you, but really they not. It's just, hey, man, this shit is all bad, but this is a sign of the times, man. Now, let's grab this in 2 Ezra 16. In 21, it says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sore famine and great confusion. It's like the calm before the storm. Before this shit really just implodes, the economy completely implodes. They start doing all these little buy now, pay later. And, just before, for example, if you got a major store that's finna close, what do? They put everything on discount. They have a major blowout sale, right before they got to close down. Well, this is ultimately the same shit happening, man. Say victuals should be so good, cheap upon earth. Yeah, I mean, even with the fact that, you can start to split your fucking Doordash delivery up into 4 payments, man. And people gonna be people gonna be using that shit, So, but it's the indicator that the point is that it's indicating of a what? Pretty much this economic collapse, man. This economy is not doing too high, The fucking buy now, pay later service is needed. DoorDash clearly needed, which matter of fact, yeah. The third point, it says DoorDash's need to drive demand. If DoorDash is partnering with Klarna, it could signal a slowdown in consumer spending on food delivery. See? So they trying to entice motherfuckers to keep spending that bread. And then, they charge you all them damn subscriptions. You got to subscribe to DoorDash, subscribe to Uber Eats, subscribe to Grubhub. Can't nobody afford that shit, man. People are cutting out all those extra unnecessary fucking expenses and only trying to deal with what they need, So DoorDash is like, you know what, shit, we gotta keep business flowing. So they like, okay, let's partner with Klarna. Let's try to throw them a bone. And hey, this is all to keep their business afloat. All right. It says rising costs of living, inflation, rent, gas may be causing people to cut back on non-essential spending. Yeah. Leading DoorDash to seek ways to make orders feel more affordable, even if it means delaying payment. See, this shit is through, man. This shit is through. It says the rise of buy now, pay later usage in general has been correlated with financial strain. Financial strain as more consumers rely on installment plans for basic needs, man. Like I said earlier, yeah, first, it's like you'd use this for, more major purchases, expenses. But now it's to the point where you got to buy this. You got to use buy now, pay later for fucking food, toiletries, simple things, man, because you don't have dispensable cash like that. See? So again, this is all going to lead to them ultimately, crashing this system, man. And not only that, they're due to the problems they caused, these economic problems they caused with all these tariffs and inflation and shit. They're going to try to come and be the fucking savior and be like, okay, well, look, we know you're dealing with X, Y, Z. You know, your ass got to put a fucking Chipotle order on 4 interest, free payments. All right, so we'll hook you up with a stipend, or a fucking relief check, stimulus check, whatever they call it. But guess what, man? It's gonna be on that new system though. All right, because these devils, man, they crashing this deal. This is says the bottom line. Klarna partnering with DoorDash suggests consumers might be feeling financial pressure, relying on deferred payments for even small everyday purchases, man. That's the point. This shift in behavior can be a sign of economic stress and potential recessionary conditions. Yep. All right. And back to the scriptures, it says, 2nd Ezra 16:21, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth. Like I said, it's like that calm before the storm. I forget the exact financial term for it, but like I said, when they know they about to foreclose or shut shit down, they do a massive blowout sale. Everything's discounted, low, just to get the last couple crowns that they can get out of you. And then, hey, all hell breaks, they all hell breaks loose, man. They shut shit down, It says that they think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Yeah, especially that confusion, because these people don't know what the hell is going on, man. We're living in a time of a financial reset. Ultimately, a collapse is upon this place. It says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Okay, because we're also in the times of a famine, man. It's gonna be very hard to get these resources, these victuals, very, very soon. Especially when you take into effect the fact that World War III is trending, and we're dealing with tariffs, trade wars and whatnot. They putting taxes on everything that gets imported and shit. So very soon it's gonna be hard to even come across shit. Okay, because hey, these are the signs of the times, man. But that's pretty much it on that. I don't want this to be too long. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh Bashmiel Shabbat Shem Kakadash, DTA Wababa Ball, Shalom.